Police investigating a deadly crash in the South Bay. An SUV flew off the freeway onto an embankment and into the water. How the county plans to turn an old courthouse downtown into a new affordable housing complex. And how the Aztecs fall football schedule will look after the Mountain West Conference changed course on its plans to postpone. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
A good Friday to you. Thanks so much for joining us at 11. I'm Virginia Cha, joined remotely by my co-anchor Jim Patton, as well as 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry. We will hear from both of them in just a moment. But we begin with this. Investigators are trying to figure out what led up to a crash this morning in the South Bay that left a 69-year-old man dead after an SUV went off the 54 into the Sweetwater River. ABC 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz has the latest on the investigation and the shock from people who often walk or bike where it happened.
Dozens of walkers and cyclists use this bike path in National City that runs parallel to the 54 and the Sweetwater River, but today as they stepped on this path, it looked like a completely different scene. Just hours after the fatal crash that left one man dead, choppers, divers, police, and fire crews were still on scene. Officials say it happened Friday morning around 5:30. A woman walking down this bike trail called 911 after she said a car flew off the 54 West down the embankment and into the Sweetwater River.
She observed what we now know is a vehicle drive by her or go by her, almost hitting her, and then going into the water.
The car was upside down and halfway submerged when crews arrived. Harbor police were able to recover the driver, identified as a male, out of the water, where he was pronounced dead. The bike path at 6 feet from the crash site is popular for cyclists and walkers.
I come out here, if not every day, every other day, just trying to, stay healthy.
Felicia Davis Blankney was in shock to hear what she fears happened.
Oh my God, who would think something like that? This is something we walk every day just to try to be healthy, and I can't imagine a car just coming in front of me.
Officials believe the body they recovered was the only occupant of the SUV. They're asking anyone who witnessed the crash to call police. In National City, Vanessa Paz, ABC 10 News.
I'm getting a look this morning at the scene of a plane crash in Kearny Mesa. A crash yesterday afternoon shortly after takeoff, ending up behind a building on Balboa Avenue near the 163. Now, fire officials say 2 men were aboard at the time and were talking when emergency crews got to the scene. ABC 10 News got in touch with one of those men who says that he is at home, he's doing well. He described the other man as pretty banged up and in the hospital, but expected to be okay. Firefighters say the outcome of this crash could have been much worse if the plane had come down just 20 feet away.
Back at Kyocera right here had a huge high voltage area. It also had a power cell area, and it also had multiple hazardous materials on the back that if that plane would have hit it, we would have had ourselves a completely different outcome.
NTSB is investigating the cause of this crash. Demolition has begun in the old family courthouse downtown. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell shows us how the new building will provide more affordable housing opportunities for San Diegans.
It will take about a month to demolish the old family courthouse and get the area cleaned up. After, work will begin on what will replace it, which will be brand new affordable housing units. Piece by piece, the building that once heard divorce, custody, and other domestic issues is being torn down, all to make way for a new 8-story, 120 affordable housing unit right at the corner of 6th Avenue and Cedar Street. While it's been vacant, it was used as a temporary shelter for migrant families seeking asylum. Soon it will become home to senior citizens and other families. To be eligible for this affordable housing, a household must make less than 60% of the area median income, which for San Diego, according to the county website, is less than $48,000 for one person. Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the location plays a big part in this project.
Everyone wants it as long as it's not near them. But we know this is where housing needs to go. This location in an urban environment, in a downtown setting, along transit corridors, walking distances to an array of services, is where we need to go.
After the building is demolished, the next step is to get community input on the design of the building. They don't expect to break ground until 2024. Reporting from Cortez Hill, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Well, this morning, Mountain West Conference and San Diego State athletics officials addressing the latest reversal in college sports. The conference deciding to go ahead with the football season this fall. That decision was made yesterday, and here in California, at least, will still need approval from the state. Last month, the Mountain West Conference postponed its season, citing safety concerns for players and staff. In the week since, other conferences had kicked off play, many using forms of rapid testing. The Pac-12 made a similar decision yesterday. Now, we are still waiting to hear details about SDSU's safety procedures. As far as games go, they plan on playing home games in Carson and will only face conference opponents. Right now, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg lying in state in our nation's capital. The late justice making history even after her death. Today's memorial comes as the debate continues over how to fill the seat she has left vacant. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg shattering one last glass ceiling today, becoming the first woman to lie in state in the U.S. Capitol. The revered Supreme Court Justice, also the first Jewish person to be granted that honor.
Today we stand in sorrow, and tomorrow we, the people, must carry on Justice Ginsburg's legacy.
Former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris taking a pause from campaigning to pay their respects. The solemn gathering in stark contrast with the turmoil in the Capitol's halls in recent days. Republican senators preparing for a speedy confirmation of President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, who he's expected to announce tomorrow. And lawmakers scrambling to respond to the president's continued attacks on the integrity of the election.
We want to make sure the election is honest, and I'm not sure that it can be. I don't know that it can be.
The president peddling unfounded claims that mail-in voting causes widespread fraud, while urging his own supporters in key battleground states to vote by mail. Following Trump's refusal to say he will agree to a peaceful transfer of power, the Senate unanimously passing a resolution Thursday reaffirming its commitment to the principle.
Not one person objected. And it's truly what it did. It reaffirmed the Senate's commitment to the orderly and peaceful transfer of power called for in the Constitution of the United States.
But Republicans still not criticizing the president directly for his remarks.
People wonder about the peaceful transfer of power. I can assure you it will be peaceful.
The Washington Post reporting the White House has already started reaching out to senators to lay the groundwork for a quick confirmation of President Trump's Supreme Court nominee. With little they can do to stop the Senate's Republican majority, Democrats trying to invoke Justice Ginsburg's dying wish that a new president fill her vacancy on the court.
Justice Ginsburg will be laid to rest next week at Arlington National Cemetery next to her beloved husband, Marty Ginsburg. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, the Capitol.
Family of Breonna Taylor speaking today after another night of protests continued across the country, including here in San Diego, where dozens took to the streets with signs calling for justice for Taylor. San Diego police say it all ended peacefully before 11 last night. In Louisville, where Taylor lived, a curfew has been in effect for days. Protesters vowing to continue until they feel justice has been served.
Yesterday was definitely a day of pain and anger. And today we're still in pain and we're still angry.
Taylor's family lawyer is calling for the release of the grand jury transcript, which the Attorney General has said he won't make public. Governor of Kentucky now calling for it to be released as well. New today, Florida's governor saying he plans to lift restrictions on dining in restaurants and block local governments from implementing their own rules. Governor Ron DeSantis says he's making the move to help businesses and claims that the evidence doesn't support that indoor dining can worsen viral transmission. CDC's website, though, advises against indoor dining or gatherings. As it stands, Florida has a 50% limit on restaurant capacity. DeSantis says that he would lift that and allow restaurants to serve however many people they feel comfortable with. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. Another North County community stepping up enforcement on county health orders. Carlsbad voting this week to pay police officers to patrol the beach areas and boardwalks on weekends to encourage people to follow the rules, including wearing masks. That is similar to what's already being done in Del Mar. Last month, officials there voted to add 2 deputies for 4 hours a week to patrol the streets as usual, but also keep an eye out for people not following county health orders. Other cities are taking a similar approach, including Encinitas and Solana Beach. In Carlsbad, officers will be handing out face masks to those who don't have them and will encourage social distancing and other measures to help prevent the spread of the virus.